Omówiono najważniejsze sprawy związane z
Is it
dalszym
Dietrich
rozwojem.
von? That sounds very German.
Yeah, I am German. Yeah, I use it as a stage name that I use for my business. I basically shortened up my last name because my last name is Vorthman. I took the V and the O and the N out of it and cut everything out of the rest and dropped it down to the Von part. That's where I got Von from. And then just used Dietrich as skeleton key. It's the German word for skeleton key.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Huh. So you run Black Cross Custom Fangs?
Yes.
And is that an actual store, or is that like an online store, or?
What I do is basically I go to conventions, or I will do like house calls where I just have people come over and I do them in my Fang lab that I have.
And do you have a website that anybody can say, hey, I want to check this out and make an appointment?
Yeah, I have it on. I'm using like social media because I don't really want to pay for marketing that much. And I basically it's going through like Facebook and stuff like that right
now. So how are things? It's in Council Bluffs, Iowa, where you live, correct?
Yeah.
What's the?
It's pretty close to.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, basically, it's the closest major city to us right now, because it's a small town of about like 35,000. Omaha, Nebraska is the next major city next to us.
That's funny. I was born there. I couldn't tell you anything about it. We left when I was 6 months old and headed to Alaska. Don't ask me why. That's just the way it happened. But no, I would have gave you like a story about, oh yeah, they released me from Boys Town and I ran off to Alaska. It's not true. I'm kidding. Anyway, can you tell me what got you interested in fang making?
Well, basically, I used to make cosplay fangs out of thermal plastic. It's basically a piece of plastic you can just soak in hot water and then mold the fang however you want, and then it just cap them onto the teeth. And then I moved away from that and went to dental acrylic because I wanted something that had better quality than actually where I could drink a cup of coffee with them in, or if I could actually sneeze without them flowing across the room. I got a hold of some people and everything, and then I went through like some online stores and got the equipment that I needed, and then I basically started making them myself. But then I started taking other tips from like other fang makers like Nash, and she's really great. And then Jacob Orsch, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but
you know we had that problem earlier.
But basically, he helped me on some smoothing out tips and everything too, and then I just used my hobby and my OCD that I have and just start carving away.
Wow, there you go, huh? OCD and fang making. I wonder if that's like a commonality among fang smiths. You know, it just doesn't look right. It still doesn't look right. Gotta get it right. Gotta get it right.
Yeah.
Back to working with the thermal plastic, was there a way to actually adjust the tooth shade for thermal plastic?
No, not really. They have like different colors, like some odd colors like yellow and blue, but usually thermal plastic just comes into a very white.
Yeah, I figured that. I've heard all kinds of things about the thermal plastic, how it would stay on and then come off. I have no clue. I've never worked with it.
Like I said before, basically it was you couldn't drink a cup of coffee because that raises the temperature in your mouth and it softens the teeth.
Right.
So then you're talking, moving your tongue, and it's just loosening them up, and that's why I didn't really care for them.
What would you say is the most difficult aspect in making fangs? What's the hardest thing for you when it comes to making fangs?
For me personally, it's mostly for like getting the gum line to like stick, or not having a weird like indent to where the gum line was, and everything else like that. So I really want to step away from the current acrylic I have and go with a lot more better stuff and everything, but it can get kind of expensive at times too.
Right. What kind of acrylic are you using presently?
I'm using some acrylic that's labeled the FX Warehouse. That's where I usually get my stuff through. After that, I seen some other artists using like different types of acrylic, and the one I really like is Lang, and that's the one I want to do. But If you buy directly from Lang, then it's like $160 for like 6 bottles. It's a complete set of shade and everything, but when you have bills that need to be paid, priorities come first, like a car payment or a cell phone payment.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I was able to get mine on Amazon for cheaper than $100. I've seen a lot of your work on vampire selfies. How many customers do you think you have? Is there like an average a week?
I mostly get invited to conventions than I rather do have house calls.
Gotcha.
So probably around conventions, I would probably make close to $600 a day.
Wow. Okay. How many people is that? Is that maybe?
For it depends on your prices, really. For my price, at the time I was charging $60 a set, $30 a tube. Because you can buy the ingredients and everything to make it, but you're going to need skill and talent to make it what it is.
And OCD? I could probably say something about that because I'm pretty much OCD. Yeah, you can ask around.
But basically, I would charge $60 at the convention for a single set, and that's about 8 customers. So that's about an hour's worth of work a piece. So about an average work day, about 8 hours. So it ain't really that bad.
Now, are these like are they made in a press, or are these hand rolled, or is there just like a certain style that you'll make at a convention?
If it's a difficult tooth, I will take it on, like roll it myself and everything. But usually when you get constant people coming up to you at a convention, be like, hey, what do you do? Can I set up an appointment? And sometimes those people just think you're outrageous for teeth, but it's movie quality work that we're doing. I would just constantly get people to sign up, and during a time, it would take me probably about an hour of average 2 hours if I hand rolled it, and if I used like a dental impression and just build blanks and then take those to the convention.
What would you say is the most interesting request that you've ever received as far as like fangs go?
The strangest request would probably be just a recent one that I had. This guy wanted fangs that would like spear tip, like a needle would be like hollowed out. And I was like, why would you want that? And he's like, so I can feed off my donor and everything. And I was like, dental acrylic is very porous, so bacteria can build up in those if you don't take care of them right. And due to the constant bacteria in the human mouth, if you bite somebody with those, you're more prone to get a staph infection, and she's more prone to go into the hospital because she's sick. And then he didn't really kind of comprehend that, and he still wanted the spear tip fangs. Basically, he wanted to do the fangs and everything, and I just had to flat out tell him no, like I will not make him any fangs because he wouldn't agree to that.
So that would probably be a good health tip to kind of bring up possibly. Do you ever kind of give tips or advice on how to take care of the fangs after they're made?
Yes, I offer them I call it rules of care, and it's just basically a list of do's and don'ts.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of them were like, I don't brush them with toothpaste with your sink drain open, because I've done plenty of times where I dropped it down the drain and I had to start another tooth.
Yeah, I've done that actually too.
I learned that the hard way. And then other ones where don't leave them soaking in water because mold can grow on them. And then if you drink like hardcore, like alcohol, like straight whiskey or tequila or something like that, you always want to use a chaser because it will warp the teeth in some way if you're not careful.
Well, that's interesting. Say that I was at an event or something and they're serving alcohol. Is there certain alcohols, maybe like wine, anything like that, I shouldn't drink when I'm wearing my fangs where it would discolor them?
If you have like really white teeth, acrylic starts out the shade you want it, but over time it depends on really your habits, what you drink with them, and like red wine will stain your teeth. So it kind of turned some of my fangs pink because I actually like wine.
That would be quite a sight to see. Personally, I usually take mine out before I eat or drink. One thing I can definitely say, when we were in New Orleans last year, I made the mistake of removing my fangs and placing them I carry them around in a little contact lens container. And by the time I got back to my hotel room, I had lost one of them, and I have no clue where it ended up. That's kind of like a tip to anybody who's listening to this. You don't want to do that. Wait till you get to the room before you take them out. So, because I went back the next day looking on the street, because there was no way I was going to be able to replace it. When I got home, I replaced it. It was fine. I had to make a whole new one. Next time I'm in New Orleans or anywhere else, I got to make sure I never take them out until I've got a place where I actually can see what I'm doing. In the dark, obviously, I mishandled it and lost the tooth.
I know some people that it's worked out really well for them, because some of my Fang clients will actually put them in contact lenses, but they don't ever leave their house with them unless things are in. But me personally, I use a jar, a little tiny little vial.
Yeah, I think you showed me that. Yeah, it was like in the back. You were with Nash, and you were showing me your little jar.
Yeah, that's the one. I use that one, and it's has like a little press-in, like suction cup lid to it. So, and I usually put it in pockets that usually zip up. So I usually never have a problem with that.
I use the little contact lenses with those. Got right on one. It's either green or white, and they screw on, so I don't have to worry about it popping open by accident. Yeah, how was it working with? Were you actually working with Nash one-on-one before?
I was helping her like set up her sterilization kits mostly, and then running back and forth if she needed something, and then just really explaining what fang smithing was to people.
How did you meet Nash?
I actually met her through Facebook. I was asking around when I first started out for tips, and I learned the hard way that some of them don't do tips and some of them don't like competition.
Oh yeah.
But our craft is so small and there's so many things other people can do. I usually can go to tattoo conventions, or I do conventions. That's what I mostly do. And some people just go to house calls or open up their own shop. Conventions work out for me. That's what I'm just going to stick to doing. Got a hold of Nash, and she gave me tips and pointers, and then Jacob got a hold of me because Nash invited me to the Fangsmiths resource network that they have. I basically had to show my work, that I'm just not some random kid trying to like just do crappy work. And some of them were surprised that some of my fangs were turning out pretty great, and I just needed to be guided in the right direction. Nash and Jacob have mostly done that, and I am forever thankful for that.
Well, I've seen your work, and it's really awesome. Well, I enjoyed interviewing you. I'm gonna let you go. It was fun.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Vampire.